Now may I ask John Denver? Maybe he will sing a snatch for us. I don't know.
Thank you very much. Your Holiness, my sister, my friend, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great privilege and an honor for me to be here as part of this weekend's activities. I am one who has been a small voice for the environment for close to 25 years now. It will be my privilege this weekend to be a master of ceremonies, to help things move along efficiently and with light, to offer a few songs, and to be of whatever service I can be to these wonderful, wonderful people who are gathered here.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now have our fourth panelist, Senator Albert Gore, the environmental senator from Tennessee.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm honored to be here in such distinguished company. I came here to Rio as chairman of the United States Senate delegation to the Earth Summit. I'm especially looking forward to this parliamentary Earth Summit. Heads of state will be gathering here in a few days, hopefully to sign meaningful agreements that will create the potential for progress in healing the Earth's environment. But parliamentarians have a critical role to play, because parliamentarians from nations all over the world, and it's so pleasing to see so many of my counterparts and colleagues from all parts of the globe here at this Parliamentary Earth Summit, because parliamentarians will have to make the difficult decisions necessary to implement whatever agreements are entered into at the Earth Summit. And along with my colleagues, I look forward to your questions.
As you know, Senator Gore, there is a section in the draft Rio Declaration calling for the correcting of national accounts, the GNP, the gross national product, which most of us now know is gross. And there was also a proposal for implementing this without cost, which I'd like you to comment on. And the proposal is that all economists be required to be reaccredited and to go to school and to learn ecology and learn social sciences. And when they can repass their exams, then they can be allowed to practice being economists again. I'd like you to comment.
Well, I support the provision of the declaration which calls for a change in our current system of keeping national accounts. Many here are of course quite familiar with this issue, but it is so important. I would like to just briefly comment on it, because we have seen the victory of the principle of economic and political freedom over communism just in the last few years. And as economic freedom is accepted by more and more countries around the world, it is increasingly important that those of us who believe in it undertake even greater efforts to fix the problems which now complicate our way of measuring the costs and benefits of the economic choices we make. Gross national product is now measured without any attention to natural resources. If we ran a business the way human civilization is managing the earth, we would have to say we were in the process of liquidation, because we're not depreciating for natural resources, we have no maintenance account, we pretend that natural resources are limitless and that nature has a limitless capacity to absorb whatever abuse we heap upon it. By internalizing these costs that are now referred to as externalities, by keeping track of the true cost and benefit of the choices we make, we can allow the market system to work for us instead of against us in this great endeavor to heal the relationship between human civilization and the earth. And certainly that means challenging some accepted concepts and assumptions that we use today. And I'm all for changing our system of national accounts.
Thank you very much.
The question is that Brazil borrows money from foreign countries, and part of this money is channeled to the preservation of the environment. And this imposes a cost on Brazil in that it has to pay interest for these loans. Imposes a cost on the Brazilian people. The question is, don't you think that foreign nations should also become partners of Brazil in this type of investment and share the cost of these investments?
I think one of the most practical ideas to be introduced in the last several years is this idea of referred to as a debt for nature swap. It must be done carefully with great respect for the participation of the developing country involved in not only maintaining sovereignty, of course, over the area in question, that goes without saying, but also in designing the precise method by which the environment is to be effectively protected in return for forgiveness of a portion of the outstanding debt. In Costa Rica, this mechanism has already proven to be an outstanding success. It is not problem-free, and those who have introduced the idea are learning from the experience. But one way or another, the industrial countries must recognize the role of debt in helping to create and sustain the ecological crisis in the developing world. The net flow of money from developing countries to the industrial countries is much larger than all of the assistance flowing in the opposite direction. Someone said several years ago, it is like a blood transfusion from the sick to the healthy. It is unjust, it is unfair, it is impractical, it is unsustainable, and it must be dealt with in the context of a global effort to address this problem. I personally believe that we are nearing a point when the world will find it possible to imagine a global Marshall Plan with European and Japanese participation, along with the United States and other industrial countries, in setting strategic goals that make it possible to create the conditions that lead to stabilized population growth in the world and a healing of the relationship between global civilization and the Earth's environment.